Before we dive into episode 2 of Silent Town, let me ask you something. What do you think is really going on in this town? Drop your theories in the comments. And don't forget to watch until the end. You might catch a hidden clue. Now, let's begin. Silent Town episode 2. The missing hour. Ethan stood in the middle of the dimly lit motel room, staring at the old analog clock on the nightstand. It read 3:07 a.m. His head ached, and his fingers trembled as he reached for his notebook. He had been taking notes ever since he arrived in Silent Town, but something felt off. Flipping through the pages, his own handwriting stared back at him, filled with scattered observations and eerie details. Then he noticed it between two entries. There was an arm missing. His last recorded thought was at 2:15 a.m. and the next at 3:20 a.m., but he had no recollection of what happened in between. A sudden knock at the door made him jump. Slowly, he approached and peeked through the peephole. Nothing. The hallway was empty. He opened the door cautiously and stepped outside. The air was thick, heavy, almost unnatural. Then, at the far end of the corridor, a flickering light revealed something or someone standing perfectly still. A woman. She was dressed in a hospital gown, her skin pale, almost translucent. Her eyes were wide, unblinking. She pointed at him, her mouth moving, but no sound came out. Ethan felt a sharp pain in his head. A memory surfaced, brief, fragmented. He had seen her before, but where? Then she whispered, though her lips barely moved, "You don't belong here." The corridor lights went out. Ethan woke up gasping, still sitting at the motel desk. His notebook lay open, the clock now reading 3:08 a.m. Had he just lost another hour? His pen was in his hand, and there, written in his own handwriting, was a new entry. She came again. Don't trust the mirrors. His heart pounded. He didn't remember writing that dot. He turned toward the bathroom. The mirror above the sink reflected the room behind him. But something was wrong. His reflection wasn't moving in sync. Ethan's breath caught in his throat as his mirrored self tilted its head slightly and smiled. A knock at the door, louder this time. Ethan spun around. The door handle twisted. Someone or something was trying to get in. He stepped back, gripping a lamp from the nightstand. The knocking turned into pounding. The entire door frame shook. Then, suddenly, silence. Ethan barely had time to exhale before the bathroom light flickered violently. The mirror trembled. His reflection now stood directly against the glass, pressing its palms against it. "Let me out." The voice wasn't coming from the other side. It was inside his head. Then, behind him, the closet door creaked open. A whisper drifted from the darkness. "You left something behind." Ethan turned slowly. The air around him grew freezing. He squinted into the closet's shadows and saw a hand reaching out. His breath hitched. The hand, pale and fragile looking, twitched before gripping the doorframe. A shadowed figure began to emerge, its shape humanoid but wrong. Its head tilted unnaturally to the side, and its fingers were far too long. A familiar scent filled the air, sterile, like a hospital room. Ethan's body froze. The woman, the same woman from the hallway. "You need to remember," she whispered, stepping closer. Her feet didn't touch the ground. His head pulsed with pain. More memories tried to surface, like static breaking through a radio signal. Then he saw at a glimpse of himself in a hospital bed, wires attached to his body, a monitor beeping faintly in the background. He wasn't supposed to be here. A sudden force yanked him backward. Ethan crashed against the nightstand, the lamp shattering on impact. The mirror cracked violently, and for a split second, his reflection changed a hospital bed, a coma patient, himself. He wasn't awake. Ethan gasped as the door to the motel room flung open, revealing complete darkness beyond. The air seemed to hum with an unseen force, pulling him toward it. He scrambled back, but the pressure grew stronger. The woman watched, expression unreadable. "You have to wake up before they find you." Then silence.
What just happened to Ethan? Who is the woman in the hospital gown? And what do you think is hidden in Silent Town? Let me know your theories in the comments. And if you don't want to miss the next piece of this mystery, make sure to like and subscribe. See you in episode 3, if you dare.